All right, here we are on the entrance slips for lesson 22. So this lesson kind of has two different parts to it. The first part here, for each problem, explain the steps in finding the value of the variable, then solve. Okay, so pretty much you're solving, and then you can write out the steps. I'm not too concerned about this part, but we should do it because it's good practice. So, first I would have to distribute the 6. That would be my first step. Distribute the 6. So I would have 6x plus 12 equals 24. Then this is just a two-step equation, so I would subtract 12 on both sides. So I would end up with 6x equals 12. So step 2, subtract 12 on both sides. That's important. Okay, and then I have this 6x, so I would divide by 6 on both sides. So I would get x equals 2 as my answer. So my last step, divide by 6 on both sides. All right, I'm looking at number 2 here. So first I would subtract 3 on both sides. So I would get 2/5 y equals 13. So step 1, subtract 3 on both sides. Then, now I have this 2/5 y. So this is multiplication. So if you're thinking, well, Ms. Bull, I got to divide by 2/5, you are correct. But remember, when we divide fractions, we technically multiply by the reciprocal. So you can just go ahead on in and do that. Just multiply by the reciprocal, because on the left-hand side, these 5's would cancel, the 2's would cancel, we'd just be left with y. Now, of course, this isn't very pretty, multiplying by a reciprocal, because then we end up with 13 times 5, can't do any cross division. So in the end, you would get 65 halves. So second step would be to multiply by, you could say multiply by the reciprocal to, or not two, sorry, 5 halves on both sides. Okay, now, if that is something you don't really understand, we should talk. Hey, you should come to office hours, talk during class, but I want you to know how that works, okay? But I don't want to take a lot of time to explain it right now. So then, the other part of this lesson is like the actual word problem part, which is important. So it says Mike's phone bill is made up of $60 plus $10 per text message, or not $10, sorry, 10 cents. Goodness. $10 per text message. Your parents wouldn't get you a phone. All right. Mike's phone bill was $225. How many texts did he send? So first of all, you have to think, well, what are we looking for? So we're looking for text messages. I'm going to call them M for messages. Please do not use the letter T. The letter T starts to look like a plus sign, especially for those of you that are very neat with your writing. So we know in total he spent $125 or $225. So that's the total. And then in the bill, so there's a $60 like flat fee, had to pay that. And I would say that's pretty standard. Okay. Maybe that's like for all of his internet and the phone calls and whatever else that he has. Plus the 10 cents per text messages. So that would be 0.10 m. 0.10 per. Remember, per is it's a word that means to multiply. Okay, so this is your equation. Then I can go ahead and solve. So I subtract 600 or 60 on both sides. So I would get 0.10 m equals 165. And then I would divide both sides by 0.10. So I would get M equals 1,650. So you want to actually answer the question and say he sent 1,650 messages. Okay, so hopefully this helps. Hopefully you got through all of them on your own, then you can move on to the classwork.